So it was 9 a.m. in the morning. I am strapped to a parachute sitting inside an AN-32 aircraft along with 40 other paratroopers. We are heading towards a drop zone to conduct a training jump, and there's a red light next to the ramp door which is glowing, and it's giving us indication of the imminent exit. So the aircraft is flying around 1800 meters, and as we go closer to the drop zone, there's a ramp door which opens, which kind of brings in a lot of cold wind into the air inside the fuselage. We are sitting there, finding very difficult to even hear ourselves through the sound of the aircraft engines. So it's very difficult to express the anticipation in words. So as we come closer to the drop zone, and the red light turns to green, and the jump master says go, and one by one, we leap out of the aircraft. As we are falling through the air, over 100 kilometer per hour speed, the feeling is indescribable. Those few seconds feels like as if the time is standing still and you're suspended in a weightless void. The sudden opening shock of the parachute brings me back to my senses. I take control of the parachute and try to drive it towards the landing zone. Everything was going fine. We are descending, and probably there are around 200 meters left before I would touch down the ground. I suddenly look up, and I see another parachute heading towards me, and I shout at him to steer away from me. But due to strong crosswind, that parachute collides with me in the midair. And within seconds, both the parachutes are entangled, and we are falling. I tried to open my reserve parachute, which is supposed to help me stop the fall, but we are already below the height that is required for it to deploy, and it does not function. And within seconds, both the parachutes are now tangled and collapsed, and we are falling like a stone. I am seeing the earth rushing towards me, and I kind of prepare myself for the impending impact. And within seconds, I hit the ground, and I feel a shearing pain as if 1,000 volts of electricity is passing through me. And after a few hours, I end up in the hospital bed, and I'm kind of faced with the stark reality. I'm looking at a future with a lot of uncertainty and a lot of challenges that I would have to overcome over time. So fast forward from there, I am now in 2018. It's 17th of November. It's around 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm in Langkawi, Malaysia. I'm wide awake in my bed, and I'm kind of apprehensive of the challenge that is about to encounter me in a few hours. So I have signed up for Ironman triathlon, and I had prepared for it for the last couple of years. And those who are not familiar with Ironman, it is a long-distance triathlon race which requires you to swim for 3.8 kilometers. Then you would cycle 180 kilometers and run a marathon of 42.2 kilometers in this sequence without a break. So total distance of around 226 kilometers, and you have to cross the distance in 17 hours in order to claim the Ironman title. And it is also considered as one of the most difficult single-day endurance race in the world. So to attempt such an race with a spinal cord injury may seem audacious for many, but I was undeterred. So after the accident, the recovery from the accident was long and grueling. I have to mention this, that the fall resulted in 3 smashed vertebrae in my lower back. The bone fragments went through my spinal cord, and I was partially paralyzed. So I was immobile, unable to sit, unable to stand up, let alone walk. And I was bedridden for 3 months. I underwent a major surgery, numerous sessions of physiotherapy, and slowly I started to recover. But every day was full of pain, frustration, and a lot of moments of doubt. Slowly, I was able to kind of sit up, then move into the wheelchair and transition into crutches. It was a battle every day, but I was determined to win the war. At times, it felt that this is not going to end, and the progress was very slow, but I was determined not to give in to the despair. So the simple task of standing on my 2 feet was a monumental achievement for me after 8 months. I had almost 70% disability on my right leg, so doctors were very skeptical about my recovery. And they said that I should stay away from all kind of strenuous physical activities, let alone triathlon. But the fall, and from the journey from the fall to all the way to the Ironman start line, took me 18 years. And it was a dream that I had, and I invested my time and energy behind it to prepare myself for this. And all the challenges and obstacles that I faced along the way had prepared me for this moment. On the race day, which just kind of started in a few hours after I woke up at 4 a.m. in the morning, that started with a 3.8 kilometer swim in the sea with hundreds of athletes from around the world. It felt like I'm swimming inside a washing machine with getting frequently kicked by other swimmers as we progressed. Halfway through, we were struck by a tropical storm, tossing swimmers right and left with big waves, but I made it to the shore. And then started my biking through the storm, driving rain. In Langkawi, it's full of hills, so it was a tough day. And soon the rain stopped, the sun came out, it became extremely hot and took a toll on me. And by the time I finished my 180-kilometer bike, it was almost late in the afternoon. I started my run. It was a marathon run. And almost after 16 hours, I still had like a couple of kilometers left of that 42.2-kilometer run. But it has been a very long day. I was extremely exhausted, dehydrated, had muscle cramps. The humidity was like a blanket, heavy blanket on all the athletes. It was an extremely hot day, which was making my run extremely laborious endeavor. And soon my run kind of slowed down and it became walking, rather dragging myself towards the finish line. The clock was ticking. Sun had set long time back and it was almost midnight. And I was looking at my watch, and every passing second I knew that my chance of crossing the finish line within 17 hours was drifting away from me. But I had worked so hard for this. I have spent so much time, so I took so much of trouble to train myself within my disability to come up to here, so it was not an option for me to give up. My injured right leg had already given away, and my pain in my lower back had forced me to stop running and slowly walk towards the finish line. Ironman had given me the challenge that I had never faced before. Every stroke of the swim, every pedal of the bike, or every step during the run kind of made me test my endurance in every second. But Ironman finish line once seems impossible, distant, was getting closer with every passing moment. So after almost 16 hours and 25 minutes, I crossed the Ironman finish line, and I heard the long cherished word that Imtiaz Ilahi from Bangladesh, you are an Ironman. Thank you. So the Ironman journey, from the fall to the finish line, has taught me that with undeterred determination, there's nothing in the world that we cannot achieve. And the adversity can be transformed into greatness, and human spirit can overcome the most daunting challenge. I hope my story will inspire you and let it remind you that goals are not only about achieving them, but it's the journey and the person you become along the way.